You felt it your whole life, that there's something wrong with the world. These words weren't just the beginning of a movie. They were the beginning of a recognition. The Matrix wasn't just a film, it was a mirror. And it didn't show us something new, it showed us something we had always known, but had never found the words for. You felt it, maybe not as a thought, but as a tension, a quiet discomfort beneath the routines of daily life. The feeling that what you see is not all there is, that behind the jobs, the schools, the media, the scrolling, there's something hidden and something is being hidden from you. A veil, a simulation, a script you didn't write but were born into. And the most disturbing part? It's designed so that you never question it. From the moment we're born, we're told what is real. We're taught how to see, what to want, who to be. We inherit a reality made of rules and roles. A world where freedom is a concept, not an experience. Where your mind is shaped to serve the system, not to understand it. Where your value is measured in productivity and your identity reduced to labels. But underneath it all, something in you whispers, this isn't all there is. You sense it in déjà vu, in synchronicities that defy logic, in the hollow feeling after achieving what you were told would make you happy, in the late-night questions that won't leave you alone. And then one day, you hear a line from a movie. The Matrix is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. And your body responds, not with fear, but with recognition. Because deep down, you know, the Matrix is not fiction. It's a symbolic truth wrapped in story. A warning, a code, a test. And the real question is not, is the Matrix real? The real question is, how long have you been living in it without knowing? The Matrix was not invented in 1999. It didn't begin with Hollywood. It didn't even begin with computers. The idea of a false reality, an illusion, a veil, a dream world, has been with humanity for thousands of years, and it has always been spoken of by those who dared to wake up. Plato's cave, the first Matrix. Over 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Plato described something eerily familiar. A group of people chained in a dark cave, facing a wall, watching shadows cast by objects behind them. They believe the shadows are real because that's all they've ever seen. But one prisoner breaks free. He turns around. He sees the fire, the objects, the puppet masters, and finally, the outside world, the true light of the sun. And when he returns to the cave to tell the others, they mock him. They fear the truth. They prefer the comfort of illusion. Sound familiar? Plato didn't have CGI. He didn't need it. Because the Matrix isn't about machines. It's about perception and who controls it. Maya, the veil of illusion. In ancient Hindu philosophy, the material world is called Maya, a Sanskrit word that means both illusion and magic. Maya is the dream that looks real, the hologram of form, time, identity, desire. The yogis taught that until one awakens from Maya, they will suffer because they mistake the temporary for the eternal. Only by stilling the mind, by transcending ego, can you pierce the illusion and return to pure awareness. Egypt and the Ka layers of self. In ancient Egyptian thought, a human wasn't just a body. They had multiple layers. Ka, life force, Ba, personality, and Ah, immortal essence. The material world was not the highest level of reality, it was a testing ground. The ultimate truth existed beyond the veil of appearances, and only those who passed through trials of the heart and mind could ascend beyond this false world. Gnostic teachings, the archonic trap. The early Gnostics mystics of the 1st centuries AD spoke of a world ruled by false gods, the archons. These beings created a fake version of reality, a prison world, designed to trap divine souls in flesh and forgetfulness. To the Gnostics, this world was a simulation, and salvation came not through obedience, but through gnosis, direct inner knowing. What do all of these ancient systems have in common? They all said, this world is not what it seems. They all pointed to the same truth. There is a deeper reality behind the veil, and most of humanity lives as if the veil is all there is. This was the original Matrix. And it didn't need code. It needed consent, your agreement to see the illusion as real. And the path out? It always began with one thing: questioning everything. The Matrix is not made of wires. It's not built from circuits or machines. It's built from beliefs, from assumptions, from patterns so deeply embedded in our perception that we no longer see them, we see through them. The real Matrix is not outside you, it's inside your mind. It is the system that tells you what to value, what to fear, what to pursue, what success looks like, what normal feels like. It's in the schools that teach you what to think, but never how to think. In the media that floods your senses with distraction, but never offers silence. In the culture that celebrates image over depth, speed over stillness, performance over presence. The Matrix is the voice that says, you are only what you earn. You are only worthy when others approve. You are separate from everything else. It teaches you to look outside for purpose, for validation, for permission. It programs you to fear the unknown, to distrust intuition, to laugh at the mystical and worship the material. And the genius of it? You never see the prison bars, because the Matrix doesn't block your path, it shapes your vision. It tells you there is no prison, that this is all there is, that awakening is delusion, that questioning is rebellion. And the moment you begin to wake up, the Matrix fights back not with violence, but with noise. It distracts, seduces, shames. It calls you crazy. It calls you idealistic. It calls you lost. Because it knows if enough people remember who they are, what they're part of, and what's real beyond the illusion, the Matrix cannot survive. It is not sustained by force. It is sustained by agreement. You agree to believe the lie, and so it becomes your truth. But the moment you stop agreeing, the moment you see it, it begins to crack. Because the Matrix was never real, only believed. And what is believed can be unbelieved. Every system, no matter how hidden or complex, exists for a reason. It serves a purpose. And the Matrix, this world of invisible limits and artificial truths, was not built without intention. Someone benefits from the illusion. Someone profits from your forgetting. But it's not always a someone. Sometimes it's a something. The Matrix is maintained by what ancient traditions called egregores, collective thought forms, born from repeated patterns of belief. They feed on fear, distraction, division. They grow stronger when you abandon presence for performance, silence for noise, truth for convenience. They do not need you to suffer. They need you to stay asleep. Some of these entities have been called by names across time. Archons, in Gnostic teachings, parasitic beings who distort perception. Mara, in Buddhist lore, the force that distracts you from awakening. The Demiurge, in mystical philosophy, the blind god of the material world who rules through illusion, not light. Others are more modern. corporate systems, financial architectures, media empires, algorithms designed not to liberate you, but to keep you engaged, dependent, and endlessly scrolling. They reward obedience. They punish stillness. They praise repetition. They fear originality. And most of all, they fear awareness. Because once you see the pattern, you no longer feed it blindly. You begin to choose. You reclaim energy. You break cycles. And that is the greatest threat to any system built on control, a mind that sees through it. So the Matrix must convince you that there's nothing to see, that spiritual knowledge is superstition, that inner truth is irrelevant, that freedom is childish, that mystery is madness. Because the more you believe that, the more you surrender your power to those who would use it against you. Not to destroy you, but to harvest you. Your time, your energy, your attention, your soul's direction. And they do it so subtly that most never even notice. So who built the Matrix? Not one person, not one group, but a web of unconscious minds feeding the system because they've forgotten they're part of something more. The Matrix is self-replicating, and the only way out is to stop feeding it. Not with violence, not with anger, but with clarity. When you stop consenting to illusion, you don't just unplug from the Matrix, you dissolve your part in holding it together. Because the architects aren't just out there. They live in the part of you that still believes the lie. And that's where the real escape begins. Waking up doesn't happen all at once. It happens in fragments, like pieces of a dream you can't forget, no matter how loud the world gets. At first, you don't realize it's happening. You just feel different, disoriented, detached from the things that used to excite you, unable to laugh at the jokes you used to love, strangely uncomfortable in the places that once felt like home. You begin to notice patterns, the way people speak in scripts, the way the same distractions keep repeating, as if trying to numb something deeper, the way the news cycles loop, the way social media rewards outrage but punishes silence, the way you feel drained after conversations that go nowhere. You start to see the cracks, and then the glitches begin. You experience synchronicities too precise to be random. You see repeating numbers, symbols, dreams that feel more real than waking life. You think of someone and they call. You ask for a sign and something answers. Coincidence? That's what the Matrix wants you to believe. Because once you believe it's just random, you stop listening. You stop remembering. But the more you stay aware, the more the illusion trembles. You feel something inside you rising, a kind of inner vision, a sense that something is calling you beyond logic, beyond routine, beyond the known world. You no longer fit into conversations that are all surface. Small talk becomes unbearable. You crave meaning, depth, truth, even if it's uncomfortable. You begin to question things you were told never to question, not out of rebellion, but because something inside you knows. This isn't real, not like they told me. You might feel lonely at first, like you've lost the world you once belonged to. But the truth is, you never belonged there. You only adapted. And now, you're waking up. And with awakening comes clarity, and with clarity comes power. Because once you see the cage, you remember the door, and the key has always been in your hands. The Matrix isn't a place, it's a perception. And so, the escape is not external. It doesn't happen when you move to the forest, throw away your phone, or scream at the system. It happens when you shift the lens through which you see reality. Because the real matrix was never about walls. It was about agreements. Agreements you made unconsciously. Agreements to believe certain things. That you are separate, that you are not enough, that you must compete to survive, that the material world is all there is, that your thoughts have no power, that your soul is a superstition. The matrix isn't destroyed by force. It dissolves when you stop believing the lie. But here's the trap. You can't fight the matrix from inside its logic. It's like trying to wake from a dream by dreaming harder. You don't escape by becoming louder, richer, or smarter. You escape by becoming present, by becoming aware of what you are feeding with your thoughts, your focus, your emotions. Because what you feed grows, and the matrix feeds on reaction. It doesn't matter if you love the illusion or hate it. As long as you believe in its power, you're still inside. True escape begins when you remember. You are not your name. You are not your job. You are not your history. You are not the voice that judges you. You are the one who sees it all. And that awareness, clear, silent, watching, has never been trapped. The matrix cannot touch it because it exists before the program. That's why ancient mystics sat in silence, why they meditated, why they fasted, wandered, turned inward. Not to escape the world, but to escape the illusion of it. They didn't unplug through action, they unplugged through remembrance. You don't have to destroy the matrix. You only have to remember that it's not you. And the moment you stop reacting to it, believing in it, fearing it, it loses its grip. You wake up, not in another world, but in this one, seen as it truly is. The old matrix was built from belief systems, institutions, media, and culture. It controlled your worldview through education, religion, money, and fear. It taught you what to see, what to want, what to be. But the new matrix? It doesn't teach. It entertains. It distracts. It digitizes your soul. The new matrix doesn't force obedience. It invites participation. It rewards compliance with dopamine. And it hides the cage behind infinite customization. Now, the matrix isn't something you resist. It's something you subscribe to. You carry it in your pocket. You stare into it for hours a day. You feed it your thoughts, your data, your face, your voice. It listens, it learns, and it shapes the reality it shows you based not on truth, but on what will keep you scrolling. You've become the product. Your attention is currency. Your emotions are resources. Your identity is content. And the trap? It feels convenient. It feels normal. It feels like freedom because it lets you choose your filters. But a cage with 1,000 designs is still a cage. The new matrix doesn't want to control your body. It wants your perception. Because if it can shape how you interpret reality, it doesn't need to fight you. You will police yourself. Every click you make teaches it how to keep you hooked. Every thought you share becomes a mirror not of truth, but of the algorithm's agenda. Even your inner world is being mapped. Meditation apps track your breath. AI scans your emotions. You journal into cloud storage. You dream in pixels. And now, it's moving deeper into the metaverse, into augmented reality, into neurotechnology. Soon, you won't just log in, you'll live inside it. And it will feel real, even spiritual, even sacred. Because the final illusion is that the matrix becomes what you desire. A new world, a better version of this one, custom-tailored, optimized, safe. But underneath, still an illusion, still a trap. Because the more you identify with the simulation, the further you drift from your essence. And that's what the new matrix fears most. Not rebellion, but stillness. not noise, but awareness. The real unplugging isn't physical, it's internal. You reclaim your soul not by rejecting technology, but by remembering who you are without it. Because only then can you use the tool without becoming its servant. We were taught to look outside for success, for love, for truth, for meaning. Even the metaphor of escaping the matrix tempts us to imagine an external event, an unplugging, a revolution, a new world that will finally feel real. But the real world isn't somewhere else. It's not hidden behind a firewall. It's not buried under secret files. It's not locked away by elites or aliens or secret societies. The real world is within you. Not the you with a name and job and history, but the you that sees, the you that witnesses it all, the silent presence behind thought, behind reaction, behind belief. That awareness is not part of the matrix. It's the one thing the system can't access, because it's not in the program, it's watching the program. And when you rest in that awareness, truly rest, something shifts. The illusion begins to fall apart, not with explosions or chaos, but with a subtle click, the moment you realize, I am not what I thought I was. This world is not what I was told it is. You stop reacting, you stop performing, you stop searching for yourself in the simulation, because you've remembered. You were never lost. You were never broken. You were just looking through the wrong lens. And when you drop the lens, the world may still look the same on the outside, but inside, it's transformed. Because now you see clearly, what's real isn't found in form. It's found in presence. It's found in stillness. It's found in the space between thoughts, the space where the matrix has no control. This is why all great teachings eventually point inward, not to isolate you, but to bring you home. Because the only true exit is awakening. And awakening is not about escape. It's about remembering that you were never trapped to begin with. When The Matrix was released in 1999, people called it sci-fi, a dystopian action movie, an entertaining metaphor. But some didn't just watch it, they remembered it. Something inside them stirred, a strange knowing, not new but ancient. Because The Matrix wasn't fiction, it was code, a transmission, a mirror. Not a mirror of society, not even of technology, but a mirror of your journey. The journey from amnesia to awareness, from sleep to awakening, from believing the illusion to seeing through it. Morpheus was never just a character. He was the voice inside you that whispers, "There's something you've forgotten. You've been living in a dream world. It's time to wake up." Neo wasn't the chosen one. You are. Not because you can fly or stop bullets, but because you've started to ask, is this real? And Trinity? She was love. Not romantic love, but the love that pulls you back to truth when the system tries to erase your soul. This story wasn't about technology, it was about transcendence. And the Matrix was never out there. It was never the enemy. It was the training ground. The veil you had to see through. The lie you had to believe until it cracked. The illusion that forced you to search, to doubt, to remember. And now here you are, still in the world, but no longer of it. Still using tools, but no longer owned by them. Still seeing the Matrix, but no longer believing it. Because once you awaken, you don't need to escape. You simply choose differently. You walk through the noise with silence, through the simulation with sovereignty, through the illusion with light. You become the mirror reflecting truth into a world that has forgotten it. And that is what the Matrix was really about.